Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Relationship Flow. We are holding at a special time just before the new year. It's a time for us to really internalize who we are, where we're going. I mean, the whole world understands the concept of a new year, but to really understand it on an intimate level, you have to go deep, especially in terms of relationship, because in relationship flow, it's all about dedication and devotion and understanding that you're a soul and that you have a soulmate, and the light of the struggle that's created in that process of focusing on one person and giving it all, being all in, as Gedalia Fencer talks out a lot in his excellent classes, the power of keeping yourself focused on one soul and one family, and one from there building outwards to the oneness in the world, to the sphere of influence, to your colleagues, to your friends, to your larger family. But the key is that centralization, that foundational focus. That is Yesod, that is Kedusha, that is the completion of these 7 weeks that we just went through, the 7 weeks of Nechomta, of comfort. We reached the idea of Yesod and Malchus, of joining together two very deep mystical aspects of foundation and kingship or queenship, however you want to call it, but basically a combination of the inner aspects of oneness that manifest in the most external level and the most physical level in a physical way, but really source back to the most spiritual source. And this completion is taking place as we enter into Rosh Hashanah, and we make the king of the creation of the mamlech, we crown, is a better word I suppose, and making it masculine or feminine, because it's something which is beyond. We're crowning the ultimate, the king of creation over all aspects of our life, of our thoughts, of our speech, of our action. And this gives us power to also keep away the distractions from our relationship. I've been talking about it in my United Souls book, A Journey Towards Real Unification in Everyday Life is taking place. Thank God we're holding, already now heading towards 20 pages. And the key is the discipline of doing it every day. And that light of the struggle that's created by focusing on what is important and prioritization and not being distracted is an intense struggle. And I have to say, thank God I have a soulmate that is intensely devoted and dedicated, and it gives me a lot of inspiration to understand the power of that. And I'm very inspired by it. And it's something which I bless, everyone looking for their soulmate to find. And I shouldn't take it for granted that I'm blessed with such a person, and that I should, appreciate and pray for her, and should do as much as I can for her as well. So it's mutual, and it just grows in its oneness. This is the idea of what we've been talking about in the relationship flow between us and our Creator, especially with the new year approaching and everything we've gone through this year, the Corona Challenge, to be able to really be dedicated. And that's going to be the focus of this class, the dedication and devotion flow of keeping that focus very, very powerfully put in place, and not allowing any of the media or distraction of what's going on in the larger story to take away from that. I mean, there is so much distraction. I mean, on the left, on the right, and this way, that way, politically and emotionally, spiritually, even financially, everybody on some level is going through some distraction, and just keeping that focus on the oneness, on the truth of creation, of our purpose, of our soul's mission, and realizing that we're with other people in this world, not just by ourselves. There's not an egotistical experience, but there's an altruistic experience of oneness with other people around us, especially, like I said, our soulmate is the priority over all, and then the children and the family and the sphere of influence, and it goes out to the colleagues and all the different people around and around. But it's very focused, and that focus is giving us power to really do our mission with full heart and with full sincerity. And then we can go to sleep at night knowing that we've done what we have to do, knowing that we're dedicated to the people that we love, and that they're dedicated to us, and there's a certain completion that's going on every day. And the whole idea of when, say, for example, a Jew says Kaddish, he says Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbo, that's really the concept is of that unification that we're talking about, that oneness, to understand that everything you're doing is making the name great, is making that yichud, that unification of Yud K and Vav K. We're bringing that down as the ultimate unification between us and Creator and within creation, and to do that on a daily level in our relationships, to realize that that's what it is. It's not this external feeling of pleasure and need to take care of your needs or whatever the way it's described nowadays, but to actually really become one with another person on a daily level, and in every moment there's a certain experience of unification, a certain, once listening to Oprah and someone was describing it as orgasmic flow. All right, that's a little bit like you have to be careful with that, but the point is it should be so inspiring life that there's a Devakas. I mean, that was the point, that person was experiencing it in their more crude way. We have to make it holy and bring in the inner aspects of the true yichud, of unification, of oneness. And even though there are those, once again, all those thoughts and ways of expressing yourself out there, remember, it always has to go back to the root level, the inner level. That's our path to shine the inner light, the light of the soul into everything. And that's what we can do. So that's why we're putting this United Souls album. Please God, we already put one out. We'd like to request again for a second one and a Kolisha one. If people, reach out to me, I can make it happen. We have the resources, and thank God it's already done very well, the first one, and it'd just be a building block to scale it up to more for men, for women, for everybody out there. And it's an opportunity like I'm really enjoying personally with the Jeff Palver community. But I have to remember that once again, my wife is priority, and as much as I get inspiration from there, like there was great music, a guy called Peter Katz, I played it to my wife, she really enjoyed it. So it has to be done in a more universal way that's uniting my family, and not taking me away when I'm at home. I'm busy with that and not busy with what my real true focus is. And that's everything, and I'm sure that there's a respect there for that, and that's part of the struggle that we're all going through before the new year, that we're about to stand in front of our king and the crown, and make sure that crown is in the right way, right focus, to crown it Hashem over all our whole life, a universal truth of life over our whole being and existence, and that will create a world. Instead of having corona, which is the false crown, but the crown of kingship, of truth, of oneness, of unification, to have that in place so that everything can come together, like we were blowing the shofar at the end of Elul, to keep praying and to keep seeking out with the slichas and all the different things, pushing ourselves a little bit physically so our soul can get stronger. And people are making realizations, and my own son is realizing, we took him to Holy Righteous People, and they're helping him see the truth within his lifestyle and his schedule, and being a teenager and making those choices and transitions, as I personally went through as well. And it's once again, I get that inspiration from my wife, seeing her dedication to help that journey, and it's an amazing thing. So this is the key, that all of us should be blessed and should seek that out, dedication. And the more you're dedicated, the more that would draw the soulmate that's dedicated. That's the key we've spoken about before, that devotion to the truth will bring out people around you who are devoted to truth, because it would mavare, or will clarify who is and isn't, by just being focused on truth. That Hashem himself, God, is guiding the world, and divine providence, and bringing those to you and those away from you that need to be that way. So we allow that flow, and we have that joy of allowing ourselves to be at one with the kingship, and hopefully and seeing that all come together over the next time period with the new year, Yom Kippur, the purification, and the Sukkot is Mansur Chasena, the joy. It's time of enjoying, experiencing the point of this whole creation, of internalizing and going into that Sukkah, into that inner world, inner space, and then going outwards with the Simchas of Torah, with the joy of Torah. And this year is very much to do with the inner aspect with Shabbos, and we need that Shabbos, because Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbos, and again Sukkot is on Shabbos, Simchas Torah is on Shabbos. It's a very Shabbos-tic year, and we have to internalize that. So I'm going to speak about that, please God, in our Moon as our future podcast, and we're going to keep going with the Unity Flow podcast. Might not be having a Moon class this week, because we already had the 12th finale one with Nissan Black, and whether they're in Uman or not, but we're still going to go ahead with some sort of Unity class. So you go to the Unity Flow podcast also. We have all three, and we appreciate your joining us with the relationship flow. Please share your relationship flow and your devotion and your dedication, so that everyone can be more empowered and encouraged to that way of thinking, so that the world of advertisement and all the world of the not devoted world should fall apart, and come to realize the only way to true happiness is through all these true places of value. Love you all. Thank you for listening. Share on.